The Breville or Sage Barista Express. Now there are 3 types of owners of this machine that I see online all the time. Number 1 is the frustrated owner. You've bought the machine because you love a great cup of coffee, you wanted to up your coffee game at home, but you're not entirely sure how to use it. All the jargon and terminology, a portafilter, a group head, what it means to dial in espresso, a backflush cycle, grind amount, grind size, single or a double filter. What is a filter? You get the machine, you grind some beans from the supermarket, you try and pull an espresso, makes a lot of mess, the coffee doesn't taste great, and you're left questioning your purchase. The second type of owner, I call these the ignorance is bliss kind of person. They do everything I've just said, but they think the coffee is great. I see these machines on videos online all the time, espresso pouring in about 5 seconds, very watery, but some people don't care. They add a ton of milk, they drink their coffee, they're quite happy. Those are potentially the happiest people, actually. Then you've got a third group, coffee enthusiasts, people who view coffee as more of a hobby, or at least something you want to get more into. And for that crowd, the Barista Express really is a perfect machine. So the video I'm making today is for people either in group 1 or group 3. I've made plenty of videos on the Barista Express on my channel, but I realized I have never made a from scratch beginner's guide. If you've just bought this, you've just got it out the box, you've maybe tried to pull a few shots, didn't taste great, you're not sure if you're doing the right thing, if you're on the right grind size, what beans you should be using, which basket out of all these that it comes with, which is the best to use and for what purpose, how to clean the machine when the clean me light comes on, because there's no obvious clean button, then that is why I'm making this video today. So we're going to start with the very basic look over of the machine. This is a beautifully designed machine in my opinion. I've personally had this for 5 years and it has been my daily driver ever since. I've probably made 5 or 6 cups of coffee on average per day for me and my girlfriend, friends coming to the house, family coming over, pretty much every day for the past 5 years, and honestly it has never let me down. So you have all your controls along the top, of course your power, your filter size, a double or single, which we'll get into, your program button for programming manual shots, again I'll show you that, then a single button and a double button. That is it. Oh, and of course the grind amount, which I'm here to tell you, you don't really need to worry about. I'll explain why. On the side, you've got a grind size wheel, grind finer by going down the numbers, and grind coarser by choosing a higher number. Beans go in the top, nice and easy. Back here, you have your water reservoir, clips in and out, easy. And over here you have your steam wand. I'll also show you a little bit of steaming milk in this video, but I'm not going to fully get into latte art techniques or anything like that, because I think if you're just getting used to this machine or you've just bought it, latte art is probably something you want to get good at, but it might not be the first thing that you're worried about. You just want a great tasting cup of coffee. So I'm gonna try and keep this fairly short, fairly simple, easy to follow. There's gonna be a few accessories I'm gonna mention throughout the video. The first being this, a dosing funnel. So we're gonna make some coffee right now, and I'm gonna pretend I've just got this machine, I've just got a fresh bag of beans, what I would do, what is the process I would go through to get the espresso dialed in. All dialing in means, gone off topic already, right? So the dosing funnel, this just ensures, you can get this on Amazon, I'll show you why this is so important. This ensures that you just don't make a mess. This machine can get very messy. Ground coffee can fly everywhere. I think if you buy this machine now, Breville have started including one, but I had to buy this separately on Amazon. When I bought mine, they didn't include it. Anyway, dialing in espresso. All dialing in espresso means is getting the right extraction for your coffee. And all extraction means is the way the water goes through the ground coffee. That's all it means. There is endless debate online of the correct extraction for espresso. It changes from bean to bean, from person to person, opinions in taste. So as a rule, and only as a rule, a starting point, a guide, I'm gonna talk about a 1-to-2 ratio. All that means is how many coffee beans in grams you're putting into the machine, you're grinding, versus how much liquid espresso, also in grams, we're gonna weigh it, is coming out. So I like to aim for 18 grams of coffee in. I weigh my beans, grind 18 grams, and then I'm looking for 36 grams of espresso once the machine has finished brewing. There's a third factor to add into this, and that is time. We want to be getting this in around 30 seconds. Again, these numbers are scrutinized on the online forums, but generally speaking, a 1-to-2 ratio around 30 seconds is a good ballpark to aim for. So for the purpose of this video, that's what we're going to try and do. So I'm going to run downstairs, grab my coffee beans, we're going to grind some coffee, 18 grams, we're going to pull the shot, we're going to see how fast it goes, we're going to see how much comes out. When we have those numbers back, we can start to make adjustments with grind size to get the perfect espresso. If you're still with me, great. So I've got some water in my machine. It's warmed up. First thing I'm going to do is flush some water through. Always flush some water through your group head before you get going. Also helps to warm things up. Generally speaking, this machine is quite quick to warm up. 5-10 minutes, I generally find that it's good to go. You're gonna want a coffee cloth. A dedicated cloth stays near your setup because there is always water, there's always coffee. We're then just gonna weigh 18 grams of beans. And now this is why I said not to worry too much about the grind amount. What a lot of people do, they'll put their full bag of beans in the hopper here, store it in there, choose a grind size, and just go ahead and grind. Now, that is a pretty inaccurate way of doing it. I mean, you could, through trial and error, figure out what 18 grams is on here, but I'm gonna encourage you not to do that. Firstly, because if you keep your coffee beans in here, they are basically going bad every second that they're left in there because this is not airtight. And the biggest tip I can give you for this machine is to use the freshest beans possible. That doesn't mean that they were just roasted. You kind of want beans that are 2 to 3 weeks after the roast date. That is kind of the sweet spot. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. It's gonna make your coffee taste way better. I've just upgraded to this, which is a Fellow Atmos vacuum canister for my beans. I'll link it below. There's a few accessories I'll put in the description of this video. This essentially creates a vacuum which you then release to get the lid off, and I keep my beans in there nice and fresh all the time. So I'm just gonna weigh out 18 grams of beans. Again, I've got my scale here. Very nice, small scale. Got this on Amazon. I'll link it below as well. Oh, smells amazing. I'm filming this video in my office today rather than the kitchen, and I don't usually have this intense smell of coffee in my office. It's just lovely. So yeah, I would encourage you to single dose. That means every time you make a coffee, weigh out 18 grams of beans. It may sound fussy at first. If you're not used to doing that, you will get used to it, and trust me, it's the best way to do it. If you've bought this machine, you are clearly wanting to expand your skills, your knowledge, and single dosing is part of that. So 18 grams in the top. This is where my dosing funnel comes in. Portafilter ready. On this machine, you just simply push. You'll notice it's stopped, but there are still beans in there, meaning this wasn't set high enough. So what I do, I just turn this all the way to max, then it's likely not gonna stop every time you grind. I've also just realized it's on single. We're always gonna use double. A double espresso is the standard for most drinks, whether it's a cappuccino, a latte, a flat white. You will find that most coffee shops will be using a double espresso as a kind of standard measurement. So we're gonna do the same. So the beans are finished. I just generally, not sure if you can see that too well. I'll set up another angle here quickly so you can see. I normally give it a little tap, and there we have a lovely bed of coffee. Now you can get other tools here like a distributor. You might see people spinning something on top. I do have one of those for this machine, but if it is just out the box, you're probably not gonna have one. So that doesn't matter. We're just gonna, with our fingers and tapping, we're gonna make that as flat as possible. We're then gonna take the built-in tamper, which is here, underneath here, and give it a tamp. We're not gonna try and break any strength records doing this, but we do want a firm-ish tamp. And I really shouldn't be doing this on my desk because I've got this curved edge, but a flat surface, the edge of your coffee worktop, will do the job. You can also buy things like a rubber coffee mat, which I can link below as well. And then what we're gonna do, once we flatten that nicely, we're gonna go in, lock it into place. We're gonna put our scale underneath and our cup, reset the scale. I've got a timer on my scale as well, but you might want to use your phone or something. And we only have to do this, well, again, this may seem very technical. You just want a quick cup of coffee. You will get there, we will get there. But what I'm doing right now is dialing in the espresso. So I need to see the numbers. I need to see how quickly it's gonna come through. But what I'm also gonna do, I'm gonna throw one more step into here, which I definitely encourage you to do to get the best out of this machine. And it is to pull a manual shot. So what we're gonna do is press program, and then we're gonna press the double shot. It will start extracting coffee. What this does is then saves what we did. So the next time you just press the double shot button, it remembers it from last time. And we'll repeat the process. If this isn't quite right, if it pulls too fast, for example, then we'll go again, we'll do a manual shot, we'll program, and we'll lock it in until we've got our perfect shot locked in. Then next time you can just weigh your beans, grind, lock it in, press go. It will remember exactly how much coffee you want to brew. So program, and I'm gonna start the timer at the same time as pressing the double shot button. And we're just gonna watch how this coffee comes out. Ideally, you have a very slow, see that already looks quite fast to me. We're already at 10 grams. It's fast, it's dribbly, it's bubbly. I'm watching the grams here. I'm gonna stop it at about 32. Stop it there, stop the timer. So I've ended up with 40 grams out in 22 seconds. Not the end of the world, not terrible, okay? So we have, on our measurement here, we have 30 mils with a little bit of crema on top, 30 mils of espresso, which is fine. That's certainly in the range, but 22 seconds We went a bit over as well. It ran to 40. I wanted around 36. I wanted it around 30 seconds as well. It's a little bit too fast. So what that tells me is I need to grind my beans finer. So I've got it on grind size 3 at the moment. I'm gonna go down to 2 for the next one. We'll do the same process again. Do you know what? I'm gonna go down to 1. I don't wanna waste your time, because if that's only a small result next time, we're gonna have to do it all again. I'm gonna go to 1. Equally, I'm gonna taste this, because some people might like a faster shot. They might prefer the taste of that. It's probably gonna taste a little more sour. Generally, shorter, faster shots are sour. Longer, over-extracted shots are more bitter. I mean, it smells great. And yes, I appreciate I'm measuring, pulling, and drinking all out of the same cup. That is just for the ease of the video. Do you know what? That tastes nice. It does have sourness. It does have that, yeah, there's a kind of sharp taste. There is sourness there. It's okay. As a flat white, if we were adding milk to this, you'd probably get away with it. I'm gonna pass on that. We're gonna grind at 1, go again, and see what the results are like. Grind size 1. And again, you may be, for your beans, up at 7, and then you wanna go to 5. I don't know, it's different for every different type of coffee. So maybe start somewhere like 3 or 4 and see how you go. I've always found though on this machine, I'm right at the lower end between kind of 1 and 4 maximum. I've never in 5 years really found a coffee that I can get away with grinding coarser than that. But that's just my experience. So I'm gonna ensure that's on double. 18 grams in, grind. Same, we're gonna try and distribute this a little bit. We're gonna tamp, then we're gonna go in again, lock it in. Scale under, cup under. Oh, a stray bean there. That would be a bit of a surprise, wouldn't it? Reset the scale. We're gonna hit program again because we want it to, I mean, hopefully this will be great and we want it to remember this. Program, double shot, and set the timer at the same time. And we're gonna watch how this comes out. Hopefully slower, hopefully less watery. Yeah, that's looking nicer. You can see it's kind of a little bit more, yeah, it's not doing that spraying as it was before. Starting to a little bit, but I think we're on for a good shot here. I'm gonna stop there. 36 grams. Okay, we're 40 grams again. I've been stopping it not quite soon enough. That was 32 seconds. So it was a slower extraction. Technically now, we're within the ballpark range of the perfect espresso. What will be interesting, I mean, the crema on that's nice. Let me try and get a little bit of a close up there. Yeah, that looks like a nice shot. What will be interesting is how different this tastes. It should be more balanced, less sour. I'm using fresh beans, by the way. This is a very important point. I'm using beans from a local small coffee shop. I want to say stay away from supermarket beans altogether. If you've spent money on this machine, you clearly want to improve your coffee game, get better coffee at home. Go and buy beans from a local roaster. You're going to get much better coffee, much better results in terms of dialing in what we're trying to do here. And at the end of the day, it's going to taste a lot better. Way better. That is a beautiful shot. That is how these beans should taste. This is how espresso should taste from the coffee shop that I bought these from. That is not far off what I could order in the store. Really, really good. So, because we pressed program, our machine now remembers that. So the next time we pull a shot, we will only have to press this one. We won't have to press program again because it's remembered the last thing we did. And now we can say we are dialed in. We have dialed in these beans. We have dialed in the espresso for the beans we are currently using. Every time you change your beans, you will have to repeat that step. But if you buy the same beans all the time, what I found with this machine over the years was I would only here and there have to make small adjustments on the grind size if I noticed the shot was running a bit fast, because it's up to you if you weigh every shot. I kind of tend to do that just so I see where I'm at with the bean and where I'm at with the extraction, but you absolutely don't have to. Once you've dialed in, once you're programmed in, you should get similar results. But if you're changing to a different bean, you're going to want to go through that process again of dialing in. So now I'm going to show you some milk steaming. I am going to make one more shot as we're dialed in. I'm going to make a flat white. I'm going to show you some milk steaming. I'm going to skip past the espresso process because by now you know what you're doing with that. So I'm going to do some clever editing and I'm going to skip straight to steaming the milk. So what you want to do with this machine is you want to turn the steam wand on and do nothing for a few seconds. You want it to warm up. You want there to, I mean, I turned that on ages ago. Nothing's, there we go. You hear the pump starting. Water starts to kind of spurt out. It does take a little while for this steam one to get going. So you want there to be still a little bit watery, still a little bit messy. There we go. You want there to be good steam pressure like this before you get going. And what you're going to do, you're going to quickly turn it off, put your milk under, and turn it back on. I like to go into kind of the corner there of the milk and have it just below the water. And what you'll see happening is the milk start to spin around. And you hear that kind of ripping noise, that kind of, that's the kind of noise you want. And I'm not going to move my jug around. You see people kind of shaking the jug around in coffee shops. This is kind of getting nice and warm now. As soon as it's kind of too hot to touch, I'm going to stop. Turn the steam wand off. Don't move your jug yet. Wait for all the noises to stop. And at that point, take your jug out, give your steam wand a wipe, and then a purge, meaning just turn it off and on again so we don't get any buildup of milk. And as you can see here, my milk texture looks very nice. This is silky. That is, there's no real bubbles. That is kind of what we want. So I've now got my espresso in my mug and I'm gonna pour. If you're new to latte art, honestly, just pour the milk in. It tastes exactly the same. But if you do have the skills or it's something you've been practicing, then you can, of course, put a little bit of latte art. So look, that looks great. That looks lovely. And as you can see, you really can get cafe quality coffee from the Barista Express. But again, most importantly, how does it taste? It tastes very nice. The only slight downside to this machine is that it is a single boiler, meaning you can only pull coffee or use the steam wand. With a dual boiler machine, you can do both at the same time. That's a little bit more ideal because your espresso isn't sitting. Whilst your espresso is pouring, you can be on with steaming your milk. On this, you have to wait for your espresso to finish, then start the milk steaming process, meaning the espresso is sitting around a little longer than you'd like ideally. The difference in taste is kind of minimal. In the 5 years I've owned this machine, it hasn't bothered me too much. I'm still getting great quality coffee out of this machine on a daily basis. So we've dialed in our espresso. We've made a beautiful flat white. You've been using your machine for a few weeks. You've been inviting all your friends over to come and try your coffee. You've mastered latte art. No, you probably haven't. I still haven't mastered latte art. It's been 5 years. You've got some kind of latte art skills. You want to show your friends, you want to show your family. You've been enjoying the coffee machine so much and you've pulled enough shots for the clean me light to come on. And you think, I didn't read that part of the book. In fact, I didn't read any of the book that it came with because who does? So you go online, you search Breville Barista Express how to clean. You find my old video that I made when I first got this machine, helping people out how to clean it. I'm gonna quickly talk through it now. The machine comes with a dual wall single basket. Let me show you this close up. Here, this one. This is gonna be your cleaning basket, okay? It also comes with this rubber insert which you push in, and it has space here for a cleaning tablet to go in. You then take your regular portafilter, pop out the basket that's in there, put this one in. With the basket now in place in your portafilter, if you don't have any espresso cleaning tablets, they're on Amazon, they're pretty cheap, they're kind of small discs, I'll link some below. You pop one in, you lock it in, you then turn your machine off. You're then gonna hold both the single and the double buttons down, hold the power button down, and the machine will come on with a clean me light flashing. It will then run the cycle about 5 or 6 times, I believe, from memory. The machine will go on and off, on and off, on and off. When it stops, it's done. You can take it out, flush some water through, and the clean me light will go off. So that, guys, is my beginner's guide to the Breville Barista Express. We've gone across what all the buttons do and mean. We've looked at some general best practices with the machine, such as using the dosing funnel to save mess, purging your steam wand, purging your group head. The group head is just where the portafilter locks into. Purging that before and after making coffee. We've learned how the grind size affects the output of the espresso. We've looked at a little bit of milk steaming to get that perfect texture for milk-based drinks, flat whites, lattes, cappuccinos. You've had a little look at my latte art skill, which is limited. We've looked at the clean me cycle, how to keep this machine maintained and in the best possible condition. After 5 years, there are no flaws with this machine whatsoever. It's fantastic. One thing I didn't mention is the hot water. I mean, very simple. If you just want, say, an Americano or something, make an espresso, you'd get a mug, you would put your mug underneath, you would turn on the hot water tap, and that is instant, nearly boiling water available to you. We've spoken about single dosing your beans. Start with around 18 grams, try and get 36 grams of coffee out in around 30 seconds. Your numbers are gonna vary. Even as you saw during my tests, my numbers were varying. We got 40 grams of coffee out. We didn't hit 30 seconds bang on, but I was happy with the taste. Always taste it as well. People get caught up in the numbers. They only look at the numbers for how good their coffee is. Coffee is all about taste. You might love the taste of a 10-second shot, and I can't judge you for that. No one can say anything about that. If you might like a shot that runs for a minute because you just want to extract as much as possible out of your coffee, you love that bitterness, and that's perfectly fine. Coffee should be enjoyed. Coffee is personal. Coffee is preference. And making espresso, especially on a machine like this, should be a joy, should be a pleasure, should be something fun to do. I've loved making this video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched this far, I really do hope this has helped. If you've just purchased this machine, or maybe you've been living with this machine for a while, but you've been thinking, I don't know if I'm getting everything out of it. Let me go on YouTube. Let's kind of forget everything I know, start from scratch and go again. Hopefully this beginner's guide has helped you. Please let me know how you get on. I would love to hear your experiences and journeys in the comments. Equally, if you disagree with anything I've said, please let me know. I am also on a journey myself. I'm learning all the time. I'm very happy to take criticism on anything I've said today. Or if you think I missed anything out, please comment as well. What machine do you have? What beans do you use? Do you like a medium roast? Do you like a light roast? Do you like a dark roast? Do you use supermarket beans and you get good results out of this? Whatever it is, please say hi in the comments. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my flat white. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another More George very, very soon. Goodbye.